Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Greek city-states and the development of Greek city-states. So, I think we've all had an introduction to Greece, the geography. We realize that much of Greece is mountainous, and mountains keep group of people separate from one another. This was how city-states developed, away from each other, even though they were close. The beginnings of city-states go back to about 800 before Common Era. The Greeks started to split their land into what we know as city-states. Now, city-state back then in Greece was called a polis. Yes, like the police. And it is very important to know that the Greeks lived from the sea because of the mountainous region. It is important to know that they relied on the ocean. And yes, they did have many invasions. People left Greece to escape invaders. They certainly moved out of the various city-states and, they took off into the ocean. Religion was a very important part of Greece in general, in all of the city-states. Religion was a key part of the ancient world, as we have said before. And one of the things that we will note is that, as a result of that, their architecture and much of what they created was very much created for religion. Now, Acropolis is basically a very important part of every city-state. And acro means top, and polis means city, top of the city. And what you would find in every city state would be an acropolis. An acropolis would be located on top of a hill, a place for temples and public buildings. And one of the most important things to note is that the reason why they would have these important religious places on top of the city-state would be because it would allow for them to actually gather there in case there was an invasion of a particular city-state. As far as the agora, that was pretty much in every city-state. This would have been a place for meetings and a marketplace. Now, I know you're thinking of a store, but agoras would be open. It would be out in the open. It would be a place where everyone would gather. Now, governments. The earliest city-states were ruled by kings, and some city-states were ruled by oligarchies. Oligarchies means a few people. Then there's the rise of tyrants. And this is an interesting word because when we're talking about tyrants, we're talking about people who become kings but take power by force. That's why a tyrant, even today, is a word that refers to somebody who, forces himself into a situation where, they want to take power. Around 500 BC, we see the rise of tyrants throughout Greek governments. Now, a tyrant would also be one man. And as a result of that, eventually, at some point, he would be called a king. But at some point, we see the development of democracy. And we will talk about democracy. We're not going to get very much into it right now, but democracy is, yes, the type of government that we, in the United States, have adopted and embraced. So the creation of democracy changes many things within the city-states that adopt it, specifically Athens, which is the one city-state that takes democracy, develops the idea of people having power and allowing them to vote. Now, how much power they will have and who will have it, we'll talk about that when the time comes. But as of now, this is our introduction into Greek city-states.